Nelly Furtado said right, like I told you, the principal crew of The Importance of Being Earnest, the play, which is by Jeff Goldberg Studio, are in studio.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
What's up, Jeff? How are you, man?
I'm all right, man. How are you? It's very good to see you.
Yeah, lots of developments in your life. One of your awards is about to hang himself. I'm just joking.
Hopefully he's listening and we can lynch him together.
Yeah, we're talking about our mutual friend Prateek, who's, about to get married. We're very happy for him.
Mazel tov, babe. We love you.
Love you. Yes, correct. So, man, Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
Have you been a fan for a while, or is it just this piece of work that fascinates you?
You know what? Actually, I mean, Oscar Wilde, when you work in the theater and you work in script, it's impossible not to be a fan because, you know, every once in a while you're like, oh, I wrote something really good and I feel smart. And then you read Oscar Wilde and you realize, no, I'm not that smart. It's just such genius work. It's so witty and clever. So it's kind of like that lurking shadow of genius that's always there. And the way this show came together was it's just one of those unique set of circumstances where I finally had a cast and a group of people who were worthy of that text. And it's come together beautifully. And the one thing that is just absolutely fun is how funny it is, how timeless it is, and most importantly, how much it still works in the modern context.
Yeah, man.
Great.
You know, I'm just thinking, here's a man who lived in the era that he lived in. I kind of visualize him as the playwright version of Graham Norton. Do you know who Graham Norton is? Graham Norton is this BBC presenter.
Okay.
Must be 100 years old. He's been on the television for the larger part of my life, at least. You're a young man, so...
It's like I carried away here, buddy. We can compare notes later on that one.
No, just saying, you know, so a gay man writing fabulous, fabulous material, which is timeless.
Yeah.
You know, like you said. And why in particular the importance of being earnest? How does it lend itself to the Mumbai stage? Let's be more particular.
Well, actually, let's be even more specific than that. You know, when you watch this play or you read this play, it's the kind of thing where you kind of wonder, how has Bollywood never adapted this? It is so indie in its context. The jokes are so tongue-in-cheek. The main gag of the whole play is two guys want to marry two separate girls and they lie about their first name, and neither of them are named Earnest. And it's a play on that. And it's an absolute scream of a time. And I'll tell you a funny anecdote, actually. The very first time I saw this play was actually in French. It was in the French language. I saw it in Paris at a place called the Théâtre Antoine. This is many, many years ago.
Do you follow French?
I mean, yeah, I lived in France for 10 years. I'm half French.
Okay.
So, and I saw it there. And obviously, Oscar Wilde had something to do with the translation because he lived in Paris. He died in Paris, actually. He's buried there. And it was just amazing how it just lends itself to every culture it goes to, because it talks about so many things that are still true today, how people can be fake, how people could be silly, how people could, you know, just simply do anything and everything to achieve what they want. And of course, in India, what is the number one thing? Marriage. And that's what this play is about. So it's one big shadi.
And like you said, all they have to do is squeeze in a Sangeet and it's good to go for Bollywood.
Are you kidding? I'm telling you, producers out there, you've got a pre-written text. It's ready to go.
Once they get over their obsession with Shakespeare, you know, that could take a few years, my friend.
Well, you know, we are celebrating, last year we were celebrating Shakespeare's 400th year, so let's be fair, we'll get over him soon enough. But it is, I have to admit, with all the adaptations that Bollywood does, I find it shocking that no one has stumbled across this text.
Yeah. Okay. It's at the Royal Opera House. We're talking 3rd and 4th, which is this weekend, and then 31st and 1st, which is the end of the month. Yeah?
Yep.
And it's 6 p.m. at the Opera House. Tickets where, Jeff? Yeah?
Tickets on BMS, Book My Show.
On Book My Show, yeah. And there will be an opportunity for you to win yourself a couple pass right here on 94.3 Radio 1. Hang by, because I'm going to introduce you to two of the actors right after this. Diana King, Shy Guy. Diana King, Shy Guy. I'm going to introduce you to the cast of, or at least two of them, The Importance of Being Earnest at the Royal Opera House, 3rd and 4th this weekend, and then 31st and 1st. 6 p.m., Royal Opera House. Beautiful venue. Whoa.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
So, Pashmina, how you doing?
Great.
Well, I have to say that Pashmina is the reason this interview is happening because she was the first to reach out. So, much as I do know you, Jeff, she's done the good deed for the day. So full brownie points to her. So how long with the Jeff Goldberg studio?
I've been here for a year. Mm-hmm. I studied with Jeff first. He taught me. And this was actually advanced production, so it was done after the end of our course. But it was so good that we started doing it more and more, and now it's a professional production. And now we're going to the Royal Opera House.
A lot of people who've trained with Jeff talk about it not just being acting training, which I think is different from most actors who train with other instructors, who come out from the National Institute of Dramas and the NIFs and what's that other place? The Whistling Woods and things like that. This one is about life skills, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you learn at the Jeff Goldberg studio?
Are you really going to do this?
Yeah.
So the
Before we get into the play,
you enter Jeff's studio and you're like, it's invigorating because there's so much energy. There's so many people just working so hard and the vibe is fully positive. So what I learned is even if you have a bad day, it's fine. You can work on it and you'll be perfectly fine. Keep working on it. Don't give up. Everyone has it in them to be a good actor. You just have to focus. Yeah. You just have to focus. You have to do your work. You have to read your script again and again. Do your little bit of research. Sit. Use your tools, the ones that Jeff teaches us. And you're good to go.
Is that what you tell people? That anybody can be an actor?
I actually do believe that, and that's not a sales technique. I know that there's a lot of people out there in our industry who think that actors are born, and a very, very, very close friend of mine who I used to work with in New York City, and I disagree on this point because I think that acting is all about, if you look at what method acting is, it's all about truth and honesty, and I think anybody is capable of that. Added to the fact that I think that it's just about applying that. And I don't know if everybody has 10 or 100 or 500 roles or characters in them. They certainly have one. And my job is to peel back the layers of their socialization, their conditioning, and just let them be honest in that one character or that set of characters that they can incarnate. And I believe very sincerely that everyone can act.
So you're saying the difference between a Pashmina Roshan and a Meryl Streep is only the years and years and years of practice.
No,
yeah?
I mean,
is that what you're saying?
Talent certainly plays a part, and I wouldn't necessarily say there's that much difference between Pashmina Roshan and Meryl Streep. You picked a tough example for me. No, but what I think is this: I think that surely talent plays a part, but talent is that 0.1% at the end of the race if you can dig in and get across the line faster than the guy or gal next to you. But ultimately, what's going to get you to that point is the hard work and the training. And I think, and one of the things that I always talk to our students about is the lessons of athletes and musicians and how, they have to practice. And you're not as good as you were the day before unless you continue to practice. And it's all about an application of a skill set. And people want to talk only about the art and the talent of acting. And I think that that's great, but it's a mistake to not recognize that hard work and the craftsmanship or craftswomanship of it is also a major, major influencing factor. So I think everybody can act, absolutely. And one thing I can say for sure in India, everybody's an actor, one way or another. And that's great, and, we all say these things like we all wear masks and we all play parts in lives. And I guess that's true. And I think it's just about figuring out how to apply that to the stage or to camera.
Takshay, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you so much.
So what do you play?
I play the character of John Jack Worthing in the play, who's a simple person from the countryside. And I'm playing Cecily's ward, Cecily's Pashmina in the play.
Tell me more.
Well,
so unmask this guy for me.
Unmask this guy. Well, so we did 6 shows earlier, which gave me the opportunity to look inside the character's life. And when I performed these 6 shows, I felt like my perception of this character wasn't as deep as it would eventually become now that we're taking it to the Royal Opera House. Over time, I realized that there was a lot more that I had common with this character, which I realized over time. And as I trained more and more, the introspection that it led me to gave me the chance to explore John more. Because although I am not John in real life at all, you have this certain common ground with every character you play, which takes time to realize. And with Jack, it did take me a long time to realize. But now when I look back, I am kind of a serious person in life. I do have a very, what would you call it? A mindset that is similar to his in terms of I'm not flamboyant as such, but I also have that part of me that likes to mess around, likes to go out, likes to do that musty, so to say.
So, what's Cecily like?
Oh, there's a line in the play where Takshay says, Cecily isn't a silly romantic, but Cecily is a silly romantic. But I'm a 19-year-old girl who loves her life, and she's just, in this rosy little world. And she's just fun, and she's funny, and she's just doing what she wants to do, but she also has this sense of maturity, and she brings something different. So I feel like if all the other characters are a symbolization of how weird their culture was and how hypocritical they were, Cecily is more real in that sense. She's just being herself. She doesn't want to conform to the norms always.
And so actually, I'll add something about Cecily that I really like a lot, which is Cecily, the play was written in the late 19th century. Cecily is actually a modern girl in a lot of ways, because she's really, she's a bit silly and she's a bit naive, which I guess, fits in with the world that was the Victorian age. But she's also somebody who is, alone in the world. She doesn't have parents, and she's really made a way for herself. And it's a very modern sort of girl in that, like, she's not relying on any one particular thing or any one particular person to tell her who she's going to be, and she's very independent that way. In the case of Jack, Jack's kind of a funny guy, because Jack is serious, but he's also a bit of a clown, and like Takshay very rightly said, he gets into what we in the play we call the most dreadful of scrapes, which is really fun. And on the one hand, he's angry at the scrape for having happened, and on the other hand, he's having an absolute blast at the same time. So the characters, are indeed frivolous. At first glance, but the more time you spend with them, the more you realize that their frivolity is kind of built upon something a little bit larger. And one of the things that we're working on a lot right now for these shows is what the world was like in the 19th century, and how people interrelated to each other, and what people's view of the world was and where it was all going. And it's actually really refreshing, because people were a lot more optimistic and fun and funny than we are today.
Of course they were.
Yeah, we're a lot more serious and drab and drained. And I think that people think that we're a lot more free today, or we have a lot more expression because we have these Instagrams and Facebooks. But a question I constantly ask my students, myself, and the world is, have these smartphones made us any smarter, and have they made us any more free? And it's kind of refreshing to deal with the text in a world where all of that doesn't exist. It's just not there.
Okay, opportunity for you to win yourself a couple pass to go and see The Importance of Being Earnest. This is this particular weekend, the 3rd and the 4th. Really simple contest question. You have to give me the name of another piece of work of Oscar Wilde's other than The Importance of Being Earnest, something else that he wrote. Oscar Wilde and his wonderful pieces of work. One space, another piece of work that Oscar Wilde put out, space your name, type it and send it to 53650. 53650 is the in-studio SMS line. On Twitter as well as Facebook, you go to the search bar, you type HRISHIKAY, it will pop up. You tweet out your answer along with your name, or you post on the timeline inbox along with your name. And Facebook.com/radio1.mum, our official page. There again, the answer along with your name on the timeline inbox, and maybe you and a partner will go to the Royal Opera House to see these fine people in The Importance of Being Earnest, Oscar Wilde. Sting, Shaggy, don't make me wait. Back in a couple of minutes.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
Back for the attack with the good people from the Jeff Goldberg studio. Jeff's here himself, along with Pashmina Roshan and Takshay Talreja. They're in The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. This is at the Royal Opera House, 3rd and 4th. And like I said, and I promised, here we go. I asked you to name one other piece of work by Oscar Wilde, and Manasvi, many congratulations. The picture of Dorian Gray is absolutely correct. And Racheta, The picture of Dorian Gray is absolutely correct. Manasvi, your last 4 digits are 5680, and Racheta, your last 4 digits are 4667. So we've picked 2. Crystal from Radio 1 Contest will get in touch with you in the afternoon. Allow us time till post-lunch, and we'll make sure we get the tickets across to you. The next contest question is, name another play by the Jeff Goldberg studio. Another play that this fine man, Jeff Goldberg, has directed, produced, and put on stage. 1 space your answer, space your name to 53650 on SMS. Twitter, Facebook, it's HRISHIKY. You could tweet out or post in the timeline inbox along with your name, and facebook.com/radio1.mum. There again, post in the timeline inbox along with your name. Another play by the Jeff Goldberg studio, not the importance of being earnest that we're talking about. Okay, the Victorian age. So, what did you learn about the Victorian age? It is, like Jeff said, a very, very interesting age. So, Pashmina, you want to start?
Okay.
Don't elbow it to Takshay. Come on.
Okay, the first thing that strikes me is that you have to sit really straight.
You do?
It does not matter if your back hurts. Your shoulders have to be back. Your neck has to be elongated.
The corsets, man. Those were uncomfortable, weren't they? I don't know how they managed.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, it's too bad. But you have to sit straight. So you don't have... And you have to have lots of energy. Along with sitting straight, you have to have lots of grace. Especially for the women. Like, soft hands. Always... don't be too... Okay, so it's not very modern, as in we can't go and touch each other so much. They were a little more reserved. They had more facial expressions, but their body language was closed. So I think the body language for us was the most difficult to adapt. And I know we had a body language class in the
by our co-owner and co-founder Natasha D'Souza, who gave them a really, really great class on that.
Because God knows how we were sitting before that. But so the body language is the most difficult for me to figure out. Apart from that, we obviously have to watch a lot of movies that were set in the Victorian age and read a lot of content.
Did you see my friend Ali Fazl's Victoria and Abdul?
No, I didn't see that.
So what was homework? So what did you watch? Yeah?
Well, I don't want to say this in front of Jeff, but
It's fine.
I watched 10 The Importance of Being Earnest plays.
Well, you did.
Different productions from all over the world.
Which you're not supposed to, because you're supposed to bring your
Which I'm not
original
supposed
take
to. Exactly.
to it.
But I saw each one of them had adapted them in their own way.
It's tricky. You might not get another Jeff Goldberg job. Yeah.
He's off the list.
I just wanted a better idea on how people have adapted that body language. So I didn't watch it to steal something from those characters. I watched it just to see how physically they are portrayed in terms of their body language, which of course was a big challenge for us to begin with, because we as people in this culture are very, touchy-feely. Our generation is very slouchy, not very informal in a way, And all of a sudden to take on these Victorian characters who are extremely proper, where there's no chance of even slipping for a second, was hard, obviously. And so in terms of that, I did have to do some background research.
So he strayed away from homework. But what were you asked to watch?
Just anything that was so Jeff said consume a lot of art, listen to Beethoven, listen to Mozart, listen to all the classical music. He said watch classical movies, watch movies that are set in Victorian ages, so Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So many.
So Sense and Sensibility. Yeah.
So I saw Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice just yesterday again. Apart from that, he said read books that were written in that era. Read more Oscar Wilde books. And one more thing is just keep on
reading. Did you read The Picture of Dorian Gray?
No, I haven't.
You must. It's just spectacular. Yeah.
But
train of thought.
P.G. Woodhouse books.
No. Keep reading, and the most important thing is keep reading the script again and again. Because the more and more you read the script, the more and more you find new things to play off from.
So what's your favorite line? Come on. Perform for me. Takshay, come on, let's have a line. And Pashmina, let's have a line. Come on. The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde, ladies and gentlemen.
My favorite line is also what Jeff has taken for us in the trailer. It's always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone whose name was Earnest. There's something in that name that seems to inspire absolute confidence.
Well, my favorite line from the play is it's actually a joke when Cecily is being not really interviewed, but she's talking to Lady Bracknell, and Lady Bracknell is trying to convince her of getting married to her nephew Algernon, and I'm her ward. So in this scene, I'm really preventing it from happening, and the line goes, well, she doesn't really come of age until she's 35. And that line, to me, it was absolutely hilarious.
How good were they in the shows leading up to this one, man?
You know, actually, Pashmina alluded to this earlier. We do we do many types of productions at the studio, but the two main types that I direct are our advanced productions, which means you've come through the full 9 months of our program, and the capstone moment of that is we do a production, a classical production, and then we do our professional productions. And this actually was an advanced production, so it's a group of people who came all the way through the program and arrived at their production phase. And we did this, and the first weekend was in September 2017. And I knew we had a hit on our hands when I was sitting in the last row of the first show, and in front of me, a woman literally quoted back to the actors under her breath while watching the show the entire text. And she was cackling as much as the next person. And I just said, oh boy, we're in trouble. And then the next night of that first weekend run, which was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was sold out. I mean, it was bananas. The tickets were just flying out the door. And we had an open weekend the next weekend because we had a cancellation on a show. So I looked at the cast and I said, shall we do it again? And, you know, obviously it was very ad hoc that last weekend because we didn't have time to prep in terms of publicity and marketing. And the tickets just went. It just sold out. You know, they've done an absolutely outstanding job with the text. It really, really and truly. And when we started to talk about what we would do with it afterwards, it was quickly suggested by one of our cast members who has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Niti.
Niti, happy birthday, if you're listening.
She's in Finland, but we'll get it to her later.
Yeah, we'll send her the clip.
There you go. Anyway, she said, let's do the Royal Opera House. And I hadn't been there yet, but heard about it. And I said, sure, why not? I'm always up for rolling the dice. And, you know, saw the venue. Asad Lal, who runs the venue, is a lovely guy. Yeah. Very generously gave us the dates. And it's just been coming together ever since. And we're really excited about it because, you know, the thing is that it's just one of those texts that tickles your funny bone. It just tickles your funny bone.
It does. Okay, last leg of conversation right after this. We're at the 54 mark. In excess, Devil Inside. Last leg of conversation with the crew of the Jeff Goldberg Studio. The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. The theatrical presentation is on the 3rd and the 4th at the Royal Opera House, and the 31st and the 1st after that at the Royal Opera House, 6 p.m. Tickets are at, Jeff?
Book my show.
Congratulations.
They're going fast, actually.
Congratulations, Sayoni Bhaduri. Enemy of the People is absolutely correct. That's another play that the Jeff Goldberg Studios put out. And Varun Vishwanath, Barefoot in the Park, is absolutely right. This is the Robert Redford movie.
Yes.
It's lovely. It's lovely.
Sayoni, let me congratulate you personally. This is Jeff speaking. I'm mightily impressed that you knew about our Enemy of the People, and thrilled that you recalled that show. That was a fun one for us to do. So thanks a lot for that. I'm really impressed.
So we had two from SMS, we had two from Twitter, and we've got one. Did you ever play called The Artist?
No.
I'm really sorry, Dylan. Your last 4 digits are 3978. You don't get it right. We haven't checked Facebook now, so all of you, because the song got over, we had to get on air. So we are going to pick one winner from Facebook, and allow me time to do that. I will announce the name, and those tickets will be with you post-lunch. Crystal from Radio 1 Contest will call you and get in touch. Okay, so we've met Takshay, we've met Pashmina. Who else is in the Importance of Being Earnest?
Okay, well, essaying the role of Gwendolyn, we have the absolutely lovely actress, oh my God, I just drew a blank. Tanya Carla, who's playing that role. She's doing a really, really great job in that role. Playing her mom, Lady Bracknell, the birthday girl, Niti Singhi. Playing a little bit of a comic role that we created out of the script itself. I mean, there is Lane and Merriman, but they're two separate characters, but we rolled them into one. We have the very funny and darling Ankit Narang, and playing the role of Dr. Chasuble, the learned reverend in the country side, is our very, very good friend Sankalp Joshi, in the role of Cecily's teacher, Miss Prism, is our friend Helen Abelsum. And in the essaying the role of Algernon Moncrief is our dear friend Shreyas Pardiwala. And it's just a great cast. And I mean, honestly, folks, if you want to spend a wonderful weekend on the 3rd or 4th or 31st and 1st at an absolutely stunning venue, all credit goes to the Royal Opera House and the renovation that they've done there, watching a fun and funny show. Please join us because we'd love to have you.
Okay, so other than your own character, who's your favorite character in The Importance of Being Earnest, Pashmina?
Algernon Moncrief, played by Shreyas. He's also my romantic interest, so he has to be my favorite.
And you?
Hands down, Algernon, played by Shreyas. Hands down. He plays my brother in the play, actually.
Well, I noticed guffaws happening when you took his name. He's obviously the most popular member of the cast.
No, hardly most popular. Just
quite a character.
I hope he's listening. Everybody is a fantastic actor, and nobody is, I would say, better than the next. But I sometimes during rehearsals can take the piss of my actors, and I'm sometimes a little bit focused on Shreyas, and he's such a good sport and such a lovely guy, and he really does a great job with the role. Mm-hmm. But the cast, and the one thing that I think is really lovely about this play, and certainly not to compare with anything else that I've done, but it's the most complete cast I've worked with in a long time. Everybody is really banging on all cylinders, and everybody's fantastic. And that's what really makes it work, is just a combination of writing and acting.
Okay. So, guys, thanks for rolling by.
Thank you for having us.
And it's such a wonderful venue, isn't it? I mean, he just talked about the fact that it's a heritage building. It's been restored. Have you guys had a rehearsal yet there?
Not yet, but we went and visited a couple of weeks ago.
You got a feel of the place,
yes.
isn't it? I was emceeing a couple of shows there last month, the Crossroad Book Awards, and I was just thinking, my God. And, you conjure up images of the past, where opera would have happened there, and people from the galleries and things like that. Like Luciano Pavarotti.
It really helps performing there with that setting.
So this is going to be a great one for you guys. All the best. Yeah?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up ahead, we're going to talk about something really, really concerning. Something that I'm really, really concerned about, which is the state of our rivers. And there's something wonderful that's happening. It's called the Rivers March. It's a people's movement. They're trying to clean the Mithi River and the Dahisa River. And we're going to have the good people from the River March up ahead. So don't go anywhere. It's 10:03. I'm Hrishikesh.
94.3